Hello again, YouTube or Twitch VOD watchers or whatever. I'm East. I'm back with my orange run commentary hoodie, and you know what that means? It's time for run commentary, or over explains, or however you want to call them these days. I am here with the first of three videos I'm recording today, the aspect of Supay. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm really not sure. I'm going to call it Supay. If I'm wrong, get in the comments. This is a very interesting hidden aspect of the flames. I have actually done a 62 fear clear of the underworld and the surface. I'm going to be doing commentary on those. And this one first is the underworld one. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'll be pausing the video to sort of talk about what's going on in the run and give some commentary on my performance and what I've been doing.
My fate is mine.
So a couple things right off the bat here for Supay. The common parlance, like the common misconception I think about this weapon aspect is that it's a rush aspect and you should only get the highest damaging rush boon, and that the weapon is very bad unless you have those things going for it. Now, I would disagree, but there are some choices you have to make the early game palatable for this weapon aspect. One of them is that we're actually using Tula as our familiar. This is one of the only times you'll see Tula in my 62 Fear runs. Tula is specifically taken for early game damage and Death Defiance. This is pretty much when Tula is considered useful. So we're looking for Gegaro's Dash from the Jeweled Palm, and on top of that, we're looking for running over Tula, activating the Huntress Arcana by using an Omega move at the start of a room, and then we should have enough to get through the rooms and progress. And then this aspect kind of snowballs into a very strong build.
To Tartarus.
So right off the bat, we see Gegaro's Dash is great, and we're also going to pick up, I believe, either Dividing or Mega Blaze. Dividing Blaze, yeah. Dividing Blaze is good. Again, it's just more instances of damage. The thing about this weapon aspect that I guess I should explain as we get going here is that Supay, whatever. The weapon auto fires on both the special and the attack. So what this weapon aspect rewards more than anything else is proper positioning for both offense and defense. The downside of this weapon aspect is that it is very bad at hit stunning enemies. It does not naturally cause the enemies to be staggered when they're hit normally. So you need ways around that. Tula is one of the ways around it. Another way around it, of course, is Gegaro's Dash, which is why it's the best option of all the Hades boons from Jeweled Palm to take for 62 Fear. We don't love what we're seeing there. Neither of those door options were very good for Supay, which kind of plays manaless for the most part. I use one Omega move early in the run here to turn on Huntress to increase my damage, and then I run through everything. So this is a pretty weak start so far. I mean, Dividing Blaze is a decent pickup, but still don't have a God boon, and that is generally what's needed for these weapons to sort of take off. We're already fighting armored enemies. Luckily for us, Gegaro's Dash can do some hit stun work. We just have to deal with the armor. And we did okay at that. Try my phone there, and we get our first God boon to start off with here. Zeus is fantastic. Zeus is pretty much exactly what you want to see on Supay. So, because this is an auto-firing aspect, what we really want is Blitz. Blitz is something that essentially scales up in terms of how much damage it deals with your own ability to deal damage. So it's sort of like a recursive scaling. It's so oftentimes you will see 62 Fear. A lot of the clears on every weapon aspect take Blitz, and Supay is no different. Storm Ring is of course a very strong option as well, but I believe for this time we're going to be taking either Heaven Strike or Heaven Flourish. It is a difficult decision with a purple Storm Ring in the pool, but nothing wrong there. Okay, this is a really difficult room for a positioning-based aspect like Supay to handle. The trick is you can't stun the spindles, so you don't want to run over the red lines. So it's worth, I think, losing a little bit of time in Erebus to do these rooms properly. You save yourself. As you'll see, this is a very, very slow Erebus, but it doesn't matter. We end up doing okay in the run anyways. This is, of course, we want to take the faster skip room here over Apollo. Apollo's not super strong on Supay in general. We'd be looking for Blinding Rush, if anything, from him. So we'll keep going.
Hear me on my authority.
Okay, so this is already, I'm feeling pretty strong about winning the run here. Nitro Boost, that is purple, is sort of become the calling card of a lot of high fear Hades 2 runs, and this one is no different. Because we're spending so much time using our sprint with this aspect, Nitro Boost is going to be huge for our survivability, so we'll go ahead and grab it here. Main thing to think about here between Ares and Hera is, do I think I need more wide area of effect damage or more single target damage? Ares can amplify single target damage with Blitz here with Vicious Strike followed by Grievous Blow or Mutual Destruction. But I'm happy to just go ahead and take Hitch here if I can. Now, this is probably a hot take, but I actually don't really enjoy Nexus Rush on Supay. I'm going to get them mixed up all video. I actually don't really enjoy Nexus Rush on this weapon aspect very much at all. I much prefer Sworn Strike. Nexus Rush sort of has weird properties where it doesn't do any damage to things that are already hitched. And also, it just, like, isn't very consistent for me, especially with the amount of dashing that I do. With Gagaro's dash, I find that I'm not actually going to be sprinting that much, even though I have Nitro Boost. So you'll see me take Sworn Strike here. Taking a little bit of extra time to kill the enemies in this room so I can use Artificer on this. It's probably a mistake in retrospect. Probably not a necessary thing to do. So Blitz is sort of cleaning up enemies after we hit them. We dash back and forth with Gagaro's dash to secure the hit stun, get Tula involved when we can. Get through the rooms pretty quickly here. This is not a great room and enemy pattern, however. As you can see, I'm taking a lot of damage trying to get through this as quickly as I can. But struggling a little bit here with the projectile spam from those caskets and hippos.
Lost too much blood.
Really hoping for some sort of skip here. We don't get it. So we got eggs. I believe we didn't get, we haven't got Arachne yet. Thankfully, we have a pretty strong build. We have Origination up. We have some area of effect damage with Gagaro's dash and Hitch, and we have good single target damage with Blitz, but still not an ideal run so far. We'd love to see some sort of skip here. We don't get it. So normally this is pretty uncharacteristically bad room encounter luck with Erebus. Normally you'd get at least one more skip. You know, a Fountain Room, Artemis, Nemesis, Arachne, NPC room, right? Like, there'd just be more in terms of skips, so that sort of contributes to why the timer is doing so poorly here. However, with Tula, you do have quite a bit of extra leeway against the timer. You have an extra Death Defiance that restores 80 hit points, so you can go over timer pretty substantially and not be that worried. We will be taking the store, though. Battle time activating before the room is already finished is crazy. This is definitely a big miss, this Zoo Spoon. There are two Zoo Spoons that are incredibly useful here. One of them is Static Shock. Static Shock will give you really, really strong AoE damage and has incredible synergy with Hitch. We missed that, unfortunately. We also have missed a Double Strike, which is basically like a percentage damage increase of our Blitz Lightning Bolt effect. Instead, we'll be taking Divine Vengeance here, most likely. Divine Vengeance, which is fine. We're going to take damage sometimes. Unfortunately, Divine Vengeance has some anti-synergy, I believe, with Nitro Boost. Like, damage that is blocked, I don't believe triggers Divine Vengeance. But Divine Vengeance does trigger on certain effects that kind of pull Millennium in, and so that can be useful to deal with those effects as well. For Hecate with Supay, there isn't like too much detailed strategy, just try not to get hit a lot. You can get hit a lot here because one of the challenges with this weapon aspect is that you often want to be using your sprint, and so you're moving. And keeping like a constant fluid, rushing, sprinting movement pattern often makes you more susceptible to random stray hits than like the more standard, like, I dash here, I attack, I move, I do this, I dash in response to the enemies doing stuff. You can still dash in response to the enemy's attack patterns, but you're generally, because you're more of a moving target, it can be a little bit difficult to avoid hitboxes. My solution is essentially to play this fight very carefully. But as you can see, we don't lack for single target damage with our Blitz. Despite our timer running out, I feel reasonably confident that we should be able to win this fight. Get a little bit mixed up as to where the real Hecate is, but we get there in time. Thankfully, Gigaro's dash does a really good job of helping reveal to me the real Hecate. Get a bit of a bad pattern there. Bit of a tech that I try to do here. I know that I'm low on time, so what I wanted to do was get hit by the sheep ball and then immediately Death Defiance out of it. However, what ends up happening is that I still have the damage shields, so I end up dying to timer there anyways. Thankfully, it's not too much of a time loss. I'm gonna randomly use Total Eclipse there. Not really important. Just trying to stay in attack range of all the different witches so that the Hitch will do some work for me here. So I have just the Tula Death Defiance left. No worries. Again, I think the really big difference watching this sort of footage back from when I first started doing 62 Underworlds is the total lack of like panic or getting hit by random stuff that would normally happen to me around this time, and I would kind of choke this sort of run. There it goes. 5 minutes and 48 seconds is one of the longest Erebus's I think I've ever seen. But we were pretty unlucky in terms of room RNG and such. But our health's not too bad. We'll probably be taking Gorgon Amulet going forward here, just to give us a shot at Death Defiance Refill or Stalwart Stand.
Good.
Yeah. Ignited Ichor is nice.
Beginning descent.
So in terms of gods and stuff like that, I believe only Hera and Zeus are in the pool right now. And obviously Hermes. So even with that, we're doing pretty good damage with Gagaro's dash. So we'd just love to sort of scale up our damage, add a little bit to our defenses as well.
It is not enough.
And there's Renewed Faith. Perfect. Really nice to see the family dispute here.
Excellent selection.
Both of these gods we want to see more of. Extended Family is really nice. It essentially gives us a percentage increase to damage for both our Hitch effect and also, probably more importantly, the Lightning. I was hoping for Bridal Glow here, but Extended Family is also very good. It's one of the things you want to see from Hera.
Sorry. Water sprouts activated.
I find these family disputes to be relatively easy on this weapon aspect just because all you care about is your positioning, so it's pretty hard to get hit by stuff. Static Shock was one of the boons that I mentioned I was looking for. You'll notice that I don't really pay too much mind to Thunder Rush here. I'm doing some math to see whether or not I should get air quality or not. Oh, I did take air quality there instead. Okay, interesting. If active, that'll do a lot of work for the Hitch effect, and also the base attack of our special... Sorry, the base damage of our attack and special also get upgraded quite impressively if air quality is active, but it will be difficult to activate, so we'll see how it goes. Lots of enemies here, definitely wishing I had Static Shock. Ow, run into the boulder, maybe I'll run into it again. No, not this time. Not doing a great job of activating Tula. You can see my sort of frustrated run over her there. Looking for Bridal Glow here, most likely. Yep.
This again.
Jellyfish can be very difficult. The armor obviously makes it so I can't stun it with Gagaro's dash, and there's not a lot of room to run away from stuff, which is normally how I like to do things. But we get there eventually. Bit of a costly fight.
Queen.
I do end up taking Bridal Glow here, and we get a really nice hit with that. Heaven Flourish going to red, and +7 is an incredible buff to our single target damage. We did pass up 2 sources of air for air quality there, which makes it a lot less likely that we'll end up hitting it. But that is a sacrifice we're willing to make with the difference in how we deal damage to bosses with a upgraded Zeus Flourish. And the ball is going to get us again, probably. Nope, we end up getting that. You see 538 damage from the Blitz effect coming out here. All those upgrades increasing the base power of our
For my Arcana.
Blitz damage there. Chaos. Chaos is pretty commonly taken to save time. I feel like I do need to save some time. I have 3 Death Defiances. Again, I'm pretty chill here. I don't really use Omega moves. I'll take the 1 Wind to help me activate Air Quality. And after many, many chimes of trying to avoid him, we get offered Ares anyway. We'll take Mutual Destruction. We again are kind of low on health, so it gives us a percentage-based chance to basically deal double damage with the Zeus Lightning Bolts. So our single target damage is actually looking really good here. Immediately forgot about the Chaos Curse. In this Sirens fight, the goal is mostly to take advantage of our hitch effects by running around in a circle and trying to get all the Sirens at once. Skilla is hunting my ass down and does get me. But you see, I'm trying to make sure hitch stays up on everything, and then I get my Blitz effects going. It's pretty bare bones build, right, for at this point in the game. Hit a lot of minor finds instead of major finds, but things are going okay so far. I'm gonna forget about my... Am I? Never mind. Oh, yeah. Ow. And there we go. I take a little damage from the Chaos Curse again, but... Turn on Huntress. There goes Scylla, and yeah, continuing to just spread the hitch around while the lightning bolts stack that damage up. There he goes. And then one more go around there. Perfect. And that's up. Time looks pretty good. We went from a 5-minute 48-second Erebus to about a 3-minute and 40-second Oceanus. Not bad. And you can see the snowballs kind of rolling here with Supay. I don't know. I do grab a Demeter here. I'm looking for, from Demeter, one of the air quality synergies, which is either Frigid Rush or Arctic Gale. We'll see if I get it. I still need one more wind to turn on air quality here, but we'll see if I get there. Again, I have forgotten about the Chaos Curse. I will say, again, you're probably going to see the paper bag on the YouTube thumbnail here. Not one of my most, like, technically well-executed runs, but I do think that this, especially with the purple Nitro Boost, this weapon aspect is just very free. It's
You shouldn't have crossed me.
very straightforward gameplay, and very powerful when executed properly. So, for some reason, that big vacuum shade did not go down so easily. I'm really hoping I can get air quality activated so that my frequency that Blitz is activated is increased here. And we get to pick up, I believe, Mega Blaze here. Mega Blaze is really good in boss fights because you are generally trying to maintain a position that's a little bit farther away from them so you can dodge their attacks. Close this screen and proceed. Wow, that's a really interesting tooltip. So, sorry, what I was saying, Mega Blaze means that your attack will keep auto-firing from a safer distance, which is really nice. Ow, I've once again forgotten about the Chaos Curse. Really embarrassing that we ended up losing Identifieds in that fight, but I suppose we did enter with, like, basically 1 HP, right? So, can't be too mad about that. Finally got hit eventually. Bit of a messy fight. Taking Frigid Rush over Snow Queen's a little bit crazy there, but I think it's fine. We'll get air quality activated soon, and then we'll be able to sprint around. Frigid Rush is my favorite sprint on the aspect of Supay because of its synergy with air quality, but also it just makes you a little bit safer. It slows enemies' speed down. It lowers the speed of projectiles by quite a bit, which is also very useful because you're a constantly moving target. It gives you a little bit safer reaction time for stuff.
Echo, have you been? Have you been?
We're going to pick up Pom 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 here.
Take care now.
And casually turn our Heaven Flourish into a level 14. Boom. And now we can grab an air quality activation while also running for our lives from all of this stuff. As you can see, we're really dealing good damage here with our Blitz Bolts. And let's pick up our last air needed. So now our sprint essentially does like close to 200 damage a second or something like that when the wind is with us. Still no cast boon, but you can see that our area of effect damage is picked up considerably. The frequency at which the Heaven Flourish bolts are hitting is way higher, and it's all good for that. Hard target at 50% is very strong. Just again combines with the with the Frigid Rush to give us a lot of safety from projectiles while we're moving around. Unfortunately, we've hit melee enemies here that are armored, so not the greatest findings for us, but you see the enemies are still melting. We deal a lot of wide damage and also a lot of tall damage. When I talk about the difference between wide and tall damage, I'm talking like wide is like area of effect, dealing with mobs, and then tall damage is like being able to single target, like really burst down big targets like those armored thugs. You can tell, even though I'm not even in Tartarus yet, I'm doing really well there. Grab this maximum mana, even though it doesn't do anything, because I don't have any money. I probably should have gone to the store still for the time stop, but whatever.
Well, boy, more playtime.
Okay, Cerberus can be a very difficult fight for Supay, again, just because, like, you are constantly moving, so you have to be wary of the hitboxes. Thankfully, he's a pretty big hitbox, so he is pretty easy to clip with the special and get the blitz onto him. And also the Gales from Frigid Rush are gonna tick damage up quite strongly here.
For you now.
Yep, good stuff there.
Infested with these things.
We've still got our damage shields up. They might not last too long, but we have a lot of them with Nitro Boost, so thankfully we're doing pretty well there. Cerberus comes back up with damage shield, but luckily we have Frigid Rush, so that'll get rid of a lot of that stuff. We still have those damage shields going. We're trying to maximize them for as long as we can. And finally we're out. Ow. Ow. We're out of our Renewed Faith Death Defiances. One hit away. This is a difficult fight.
Enough trying to massacre me just for fun.
I thought we weren't going to make it there, but we ended up clutching it out. I thought the time stop was me dying, but it was actually Cerberus. Okay, not bad. Again, we ended up saving time overall in fields. We've about 7.5 minutes to do Tartarus, which is pretty good. Again, very calm. This
Made it back here.
is a really strong build. I just need to kind of get my Death Defiances back, so I'll save up for that.
Princess?
Grab and Great Pin. still a bit of room to grow for the build as well, so hopefully we pick up something that can help us out with that. Like, no cast boon and no rush boon is kind of crazy. Or no, we have prison rush. No cast boon here at this point is, like, kind of crazy. We haven't been super fortunate with our build luck. We haven't, haven't really been very fortunate with encounters either. So, but despite all that, as you can see, our blitz bolts are dealing about 700-ish. Living Origination is active. We have air quality to handle AoE and hitch to help us out with that. All in all, looks pretty good. And we'll pick up something from Hades. I'm hoping for Unseen Ire here, probably. Deep Descent is totally fine as well. This is going to be interesting. Large swaths of enemies like this. But we have really strong AoE. Make sure to keep sprinting so that Nitro Boost damage shield can help us out. And not too much of a problem. Why not sell... Oh, this is a good question from the Dark Omen in chat. Why not sell Bridal Glow there, just hoping for King's Ransom? You do lose the upgrades. The plus however many level. I think it's +3 for Purple Bridal Glow. You do lose those levels on the Heaven Flourish, I believe. And I was happy to keep those. And I guess King's Ransom would be pretty good. Like, I would take it if I were offered it. But, I don't think you lose... I think you do lose the palms, but I'm not sure. Little tech here to die on purpose. Pick up. Mindgrave Pin. I'm going to have to look that up now, whether or not you do lose the palms or not. We can see a Charon Well here, so I'm going to try and buy back a Death Defiance if I can. Nemesis encounters in Tartarus, I think I've mentioned this before in different videos, but I play Nemesis encounters in Tartarus a little bit differently. And the primary way in which I play them differently is that I try... Normally in Nemesis encounters, you're very much trying to like play passively and avoid damage. In Tartarus, though, the enemies can... If the enemies start to stack up and really swarm you, you can really start to lose ground, and it becomes just... You end up taking more damage than you avoid by trying to play passively. This is a good room for Divine Vengeance because of those like vacuum-like effects that the opponents have. We actually... Those trigger Divine Vengeance, so that's very cool.
Easy. I lost.
I'm going to have to take an extra room here, unfortunately. But I will trade an extra room for a Death Defiance any day of the week. Damage isn't too bad here, obviously. With gold bags, pretty much just trying to maneuver myself around the coins and stuff like that. Use my damage shields, and then get it to the point where it's hit stunnable. Die. Trigger pin.
Out with you.
Good stuff. If Demeter was on this family dispute, I would go to it, but she's not, so I won't. Again, we've been pretty fortunate with enemy spawns here. I think the worst enemies we can go up against are like the armored thugs. And we haven't really seen them yet. These armored tempests aren't that much of a problem with our build because of air quality and hitch. We clean up mobs pretty well. And again, just going with a little bit of a slow tech here. Oh, this guy is teleporting around, making it a little hard for me, but we get there. I'm not going to do another room for extra palms, just because...
Reconstruction underway.
Ah, we don't get Demeter offered again, unfortunately, but we do hit proper upbringing, which is really nice. We have a lot of stuff that's about to get rarefied. Right at the last moment there. That was a nice little DPS increase for us.
Time's sake.
And now we're back to Kronos.
My granddaughter.
Kronos, similar to Cerberus, we're just trying to watch our positioning here, making sure we save our dashes to avoid his attacks, and otherwise keep moving around, try to stack up as many blitzes on him as we can. Not super worried about the minions here. We're pretty happy that we hit Deep Descent. You don't have to worry too much about the minion dying shockwaves. And in the meantime, we can continue to keep our eyes on Kronos, avoid the hitboxes. We know he's going for the big slam there because of his attack pattern. Hold it. We managed to get hit by 2 different time freezes there, but avoid the boomerang. Big shoutouts to Mega Blaze here, which is hitting him from farther away. And good stuff. I think I just dealt 1,400 damage with a Zeus Lightning Bolt there. Not bad. And that's damageless phase 1. So I triggered Kronos' combo breaker there. It's called that in the code. Essentially, he took too much damage too fast and stopped doing what he was doing and pivoted to teleport next to me and then throw a boomerang. Now, this gets me thinking, because when Kronos does this, he leaves his safety bubble to do so, especially if you go lower in the map like this. So I'm now pretty confident that I can phase him without him being able to get his second and third insta-kill channeled. Oh, I guess not. Maybe, yeah, I go for it on phase 3, yeah. But healing from these tempi is really, really difficult to deal with. You see I tagged some of them with Hitch, just so that the damage that I'm dealing to Kronos will also kill some of them and reduce the healing. There's another combo breaker. I take the opportunity to tag a whole bunch of the heals with Hitch. And as you can see, pretty much all of his heals are gone. And there he goes. Damageless phase 2. This would be very, very difficult without Nitro Boost. I just want to throw that out there. Phase 3 is much, much, much more easier if you can move quickly. Avoiding the little light show that he does there is something. He'll quickly teleport and then do several different actions, and being already in a sprint that moves you quite quickly makes it easier to respond to these sorts of things. But as you can see, I still have some damage shields up. There's another combo breaker. Just take our time. I get hit twice by the boomerangs. I'm very bad at dodging the boomerangs. Lost all my damage shields now, but we get pretty fortunate here. Kronos has a mid-phase trick where he summons a clone of himself, Klonos, and the two of them kind of chase you down and do dash strikes and stuff like that. But because right before doing that, he summoned the grabby hands, you'll see that his clone doesn't actually show up. Now, part of that is deep descent, but that's also if there are other enemies on the screen, that each enemy that kind of spawns into this encounter has weight, and the weight basically tells the game don't summon Clonos here, and so I get to skip having to avoid the clone entirely. And it's not like I'm, you know, in tough here against the grabby hands either. They go down to Hitch and Frigid Rush pretty easily. Mostly in my mind right now, I'm thinking about, I really hope I could do this damage list. That would be sick. But it was not to be. There was the boomerang, but we get there deathless. And that is Supay Underworld.
Is this possible?
We'll be back with the aspect of Supay later on tonight to do a recording of 62 Fear Surface, which, spoiler alert, is much more harder and much more rage-inducing than Underworld. Main things to say about this run is, I believe the kind of the golden tickets to winning with this aspect is Gagaro's Dash, a really strong Blitz Boon, and Nitro Boost. Those are the three main things that you want to try to be hitting there. There are a lot of ways in which this build could have been more powerful. I only got one source of Gales with air quality. I didn't get Static Shock. So there's lots of ways this build could have gotten even stronger. Obviously, I had to go with Athena very early on because of Erebus being 5 minutes and 48 seconds long. But you can see, despite that, we still had a minute to spare and had to take an additional room in Tartarus. It was a really weird 6 encounter Tartarus that we still ended up having a minute left on the run. So very cool. I guess I didn't really even need the Death Defiance. I should have been more confident. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you liked it, make sure you subscribe, like it, tell all your friends, and I will see you around next time.